Rugrats the Movie Activity Challenge, released in 1998. Now, the CD starts off with this really nice gesture from Broadband to donate to the Children's Miracle Network.
Just take a few minutes to register this software, and Broderbund will make a donation to a CMN hospital near you.
And that talking Mary Lou Renton in the corner, I'm sorry, I just thought that was really neat for some reason, I don't know. Now, I've never seen the Rugrats movie, but I believe this is a collection of minigames based around scenes from the movie. Each minigame has 10 levels that gets progressively harder as you go, and the first one is called Aqua Reptar, and you'll be rescuing Tommy Pickle's brother Dill Pickle? Dill Pickle? Okay. So you head down the river collecting items for points, and at the end of each stage you can grab Dill from the monkeys. The Rugrats are constantly talking as you play the game, making jokes, really adding to the experience.
Thank goodness! I wasn't scared a shark was gonna eat my head again!
As you progress, you'll have monkeys tossing bananas at you, and your raft can take a few hits, if you run into a rock, for instance. As long as you have some stickies up there in the corner, which are like your hit points, you can keep going. Now, what really surprised me was the water has a current to it, and it pulls your raft towards the rocks. And this really added to the challenge quite a bit, so this was a pretty fun and challenging game. I did like it. Making tracks is kind of a sliding puzzle game where you're moving tracks around to make path for the Reptar wagon to pass. If you don't finish the path the kids are driving on, don't worry, they'll just head in the opposite direction. You have all the time you need. Each of the levels have other levels to them where you have to rescue your friends, so you're going to get a lot of play value out of this one. Another great game on the collection. It's pretty cool too. In Reptar Rhythm, it's one of those dancing rhythm type games. Now in this one, Reptar destroys a city from around the world. Now the only really neat thing about this one is each city he destroys has its own Reptar song to it. Now I really don't like these types of games, so this is probably the weakest one on the collection. In Monkey Mayhem, you'll bounce Tommy and Chucky on a seesaw. You'll need to collect 4 jars of, I don't know, jam? Blueberry jam? Anyway, you collect the 4 jars, and after that you're able to rescue Dill from the monkeys. Now if you fall off the seesaw, you'll lose a jar of jam, which I think's pretty reasonable. I remember playing that Monsters Inc. game where if you fall off you lose a life and you only have 3 lives. It was just way too hard. The method they're using here lets you enjoy the game a lot more and don't feel as frustrated, so I would say this one was an alright game too. In Traffic Trouble, you'll be moving vehicles around to make a path for the Rugrats to get through. And that's about it. I can't say much more than that, but I will say it wasn't a bad game either, but it's not too challenging.
Hi, Tommy. Hi, Chucky. Could you please help me and get me out of this thing?
And finally, there's Stu's Workshop. Angelica gets trapped in some sort of anti-gravity field. So to get her down, you're going to need to trigger the button near her by placing all these crazy contraptions all over that board. Now the idea here is to try to make the contraptions trigger each other to eventually hit the button. And this one was really fun, completely addicting, and unfortunately it only had 10 stages. But definitely my favorite game on this collection. It was pretty cool. And finally, in between stages, you'll have a chance to play an Angelica Walk the Dog game for some bonus points, and it's a pretty nice addition too. So Rugrats Movie Activity Challenge is a great collection of minigames. Almost all of them I liked, and they don't have a very generic feel to them. It's definitely not a bad collection at all. I enjoyed myself. It was pretty good. So anyway, there you have it. Rugrats Movie Activity Challenge. Thanks for watching.